Hey guys, welcome to Bassin and AZ. My name is Brandon Lovelace, and today's video is going to be story time basically. So I'm going to tell you guys how I went from being a bass angler here in Phoenix to fishing TBF, or also known as the Bass Federation here in Phoenix. So I'm going to keep it real short and real sweet, guys. I'm going to tell you basically my story, and then I'm going to give you guys a little bit of boat etiquette as being a co-angler that I think will help a lot of beginner anglers who are starting to fish on boats. I think it'll help you guys a lot. So let's get started. Basically, guys, I a few years ago was just, bank fishing like a lot of guys do. I think like many people do, because obviously, who has thousands of dollars to spend on a super expensive boat. But I started out as a bank angler. I would just grab some cheap gear from Walmart and, maybe go grab like a decently inexpensive spinning combo from, Sportsman's or Cabela's or wherever I was going to get one from. And I would go out and just fish. I was a power fisherman. I fished a lot of crankbaits and things like that, jerk baits, stuff like that, because I just didn't really know how to fish anything finesse, or just didn't really have the patience either. I have ADHD really badly, and so it's hard for me to slow down and fish something like a Texas rig or like a drop shot or something like that, and so I just didn't. And so one day I joined a couple fishing groups on Facebook, Fish AZ and Fishing Arizona, a bunch of great groups. A bunch of great guys and gals in those groups. So if you're looking for a fishing group in Arizona, I would try Fish AZ or Fishing Arizona. However, a guy named Scotty Edwards posted in one of those groups a couple years ago, and he is a professional fisherman who in his spare time will take out people on his boat and just kind of get people to have a good experience while out on a boat and try to get them on some good bass. And he posted in one of the groups, and I just happened to be one of the fortunate people that was chosen. And we probably had 150 fish day out at Alamo. It was just me and Scotty, and it was I got on my first topwater fish ever, and we just had a fantastic day. It was super awesome day. And I think that day is what really like solidified it for me, and really was like, I thought to myself and was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, I've always loved fishing. It was my first time on the back of a boat, and I just fell in love with it. And so ever since then, I just, the tug is the drug. I try to invest when I can into gear and rods and reels and all types of stuff, tackle, things like that. But that day is just really what solidified it for me. So ever since that day, Scotty and I became really decent friends. And for a few months after that, probably 6-8 months after that, he would hit me up every couple weeks and be like, hey man, I have a spot on the back of my boat. Do you want to go? I'd say yes, and we'd go out there and have, I think it was maybe 1 or 2 times that we really didn't catch anything. But other than that, we always got on bass. He's such a great fisherman. He knows how to get beginner guys on bass, and he knows how to teach them very basic knowledge that's going to help them be better anglers. And so I'm very blessed for Scotty. One of my really good friends, somebody I look up to a lot in the fishing community. And he's for me, he's a staple, especially here in Phoenix. Like, if you know Scotty, he's a great guy. He's somebody that always gives the shirt off his back. He's always giving out, I don't want to say secret stuff, but he's given me some very valuable information, and I'm more than blessed to have him in my life as a friend and somebody I can call. I'd call him family. So other than that, though, guys, so basically that was my story and how I kind of went from fishing on the bank to on the back of a boat. And then recently, last year, Scotty hit me up and was like, hey man, I think you should fish TBF. It's called the Bass Federation, and it's for basically a bunch of, or not a bunch of, but just newer anglers who are looking to get into like the tournament side of things, to get in and kind of get their feet wet. And last year I couldn't really do it because I was just really busy and had a lot of stuff going on. But this year I was in a much better position to be able to kind of just take a step back and join the group and start tournament fishing. And my first tournament was in November. Excuse me. And it was at Roosevelt Lake here in Arizona. Here in Arizona. And I fished out of 27 boats. I placed 14th and only put 3 fish in the boat. And I firmly believe that if I would have put 5 fish in the boat, I probably would have placed top 10 for my first tournament ever. So that was a huge relief. That was just something that I pondered upon, just thought about, and was like, hey, I didn't beat myself up too much for it. That was my goal, was to place top 10. But because I didn't put 5 fish in the boat, I didn't place top 10. But it's okay. It's just how it goes, right? It's called fishing, not catching. So after that tournament, I started to message some of the guys in TBF, like Crash or Daniel Mosley, Jay or Justin, or just some of the guys, and just like start picking their brains, and I started asking them questions. And I'm obviously asking Scotty a lot of questions, stuff like that, to just try to gain more knowledge. Guys, you can never watch too many videos, and you can never ask too many questions about whether it be, hey, you know, water clarity is this, what should I be fishing? You know, what depths around this time of year are the fish in as far as water columns? You know, last year, what were the fish like, or what were they biting on at this lake around this time? You know, you can never ask too many questions. And so I'm always trying to gain knowledge. I'm always asking questions, guys. There's probably a couple guys out there that are like, man, he asked too many questions, like shut that guy up. But I'm always trying to learn. So, you know, but nobody's ever going to say anything, guys, because they always understand that, you know, obviously being a newer angler, you're trying to be a better fisherman. And so nobody's ever going to shoot you down or tell you to, hey, stop asking so many questions. You know, you just got to get out there and get knowledge. So after I joined TBF earlier this year, there was a raffle recently that they did for a family tournament up at Bartlett Lake, and I went up there with my son, with my kiddos and my girl, and we went up there and just, you know, got to know a bunch of the guys personally, and I actually won a champion, a Dobbins Champion XP drop shot rod, which is, if you know what that rod is, it's super, super expensive, very top of the line rod. And I also won a Dobbins Maverick reel, 7:2-to-1 gear ratio, so it's a little bit of a faster gear ratio. But it was awesome. The whole raffle itself, I don't even really care about winning anything. The experience of just being there and being treated like family, and, you know, talking to a bunch of the guys and them hanging out with your kids, or, you know, your girl, and just like being able to like really feel like this is where you belong. I never felt like that before. And so to be in a group like that with a bunch of guys and girls who, you know, we didn't know each other from a few weeks ago to now, I feel like I'm at home. That's really what's important to me. So, you know, next tournament's at Apache in February, in a couple of weeks. So we're going to be out there doing some fishing. I'll do another video after the tournament, obviously letting you guys know how it went, what I used, what I caught them on, and, you know, hopefully I can bring a plaque home for you guys. So that's it, guys. That's kind of my story for, you know, how I got into it. It's not a very long one. There's a lot more details into it, but it's just a lot of nonsense, and a lot of, you know, stuff that kicked me down that I had to climb back up from. So obviously, if you're ever interested in hearing those details, you can hit me up in a personal message, and I'd be more than happy to tell you, kind of go into detail about it. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Scotty is who helped me, basically from day one. You know, he's been there the whole time. He's taught me probably 90% of the knowledge that I know. So, you know, if you guys have any questions, you can look him up on Scotty, at Scotty Edwards on Facebook. Super knowledgeable guy, and he'll teach you a lot. So I'm gonna get into one more thing really quickly, just basically what I've learned as being a co-angler as far as like boat etiquette. So basically being on the back of a boat just means paying attention, right? It means basically paying attention a lot. So just, you know, making sure that if your boater says net, that you're getting the net super quickly. Knowing how to net is a whole different thing in itself. And so, you know, I had a crash course in learning how to net relatively quickly. And, you know, so that's one thing, netting the fish, making sure that you're not casting on the front of the boat where your boater's fishing. Obviously, that's a huge no-no. Being respectful, I think a lot of guys kind of take this one very loosely, but being respectful on the back of a boat, guys, just means picking up your trash, you know, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am to your boater, things like that, because obviously nobody wants to have a rude person on the back of their boat. It's just not fun. And so just being respectful, guys, making sure that, you know, you're giving your boater gas money, things like that. That's super important. And then something that Scotty kind of beat into my head was just, as a co-angler, guys, we're the newbies, right? We're kind of the bottom of the totem pole, guys, and so we're going to be doing a lot of the grunt work, which means, you know, after the boat's being taken out of the water, you want to make sure they have, most of your boaters, if not all your boaters, are going to have that spray in the back of their boat that's kind of like help keep all like the watermarks and all like the dirt and grime and stuff off the boat after it gets out of the water. And so you basically have to spray that spray on the boat and then wipe it down. I do that every single time for Scotty. I always tell him he doesn't even have to touch the boat after we go fishing, because I know that's my job. And so I think that's super important, just to make sure that, you know, you're taking care of your boater's boat, and taking care of their gear, you know, not stepping on their gear, or if he's allowing you to use something out of his tackle that you need to be replacing it, or, you know, if he lets you use soft plastics, just saying thank you or things like that. It's just, you know, super important, guys, that you're being very respectful to your boater and making sure that you're taking care of them, because they're going to make sure that they take care of you. So if I can think of anything else, I'll post it in another video, guys, but I think that's pretty much it. I mean, just like I said, being respectful, bringing your own tackle, that's probably another one too, is making sure you're prepared. you know, making sure that you know how to net. If you don't know how to net, make sure, you know, watch some videos on learning how to net. You know, and have fun. That's probably the most important thing, is just have fun, guys. While you're out there on the water, you need to be having fun. If you're not, you shouldn't be out there, right? Like, even if you go out there and get skunked all day, I know guys that went out there in tournaments and got skunked, and I know guys that went out there and got a full bag. So regardless, if you're not having fun while you're out there, you shouldn't be doing this. So if you guys have any comments, questions, or anything like that, you can always shoot them to me in my DMs, or comment them on these videos, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. But that's it for me, guys. That's all I got for you today. So thanks for tuning in. And like I said, if you guys have any questions or anything, shoot them to me. Thanks for watching, guys.